It's like, bro, you got Baca. He's standing right next to you. Then you got Akademiks. He's your spokesperson. Like, if Drake was Jafar, Akademiks would be Gilbert Godfrey, the toucan. Just like I said, when Funny Willis arrested Young Thug, she said 20% of the population was committing 80% of the crimes. Do you know how rare that is to find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people around you that have these type of cases? You have to attract this. You have to be looking for this shit.
I'm not gonna stand here and let this man continue to lie about me. That's not what happened, Akademiks. You know that that's not what happened. And for you to pretend that you didn't do anything,
Deep in the night of December 18th of 2023, DJ Akademiks' live stream on Twitch was interrupted with the piercing screams of a woman in agony. At this point, he was not on his Hennessy-stained computer chair, but somewhere in the background, seemingly having an altercation with said female.
And that's crazy. I don't know if this is true or not, because there's too many rumors going around. This may be a completely different situation. Either way, that's crazy, because there's multiple accusations of Akademiks doing this type of thing, especially if y'all seen that video of him having that confrontation outside with his girlfriend, him saying like he's surprised and all that type of shit, putting his hands on this girl. It's like, man, I keep telling y'all, the average of the 5 people, Kendrick said, they're hanging flocks. Here they go, man.
He was screaming. It's not really clear if he thought his stream was closed or why he left the stream on for thousands to witness this, but for 30 long seconds, viewers were given a front row of DJ Akademiks spiraling. Little did the audience realize this moment right here would end up opening the floodgates for the crazy dark allegations that have found a new light on Twitter today. Several months after this incident, another woman who was once close with Akademiks filed a lawsuit and went public, accusing Akademiks of assaulting her, along with 2 of his friends. Akademiks was somehow able to weasel out of being criminally held liable for this incident. But
that's what he does. He likes to talk and weasel himself out of situations because he truly believes he can't get caught. He's above the law. He's smarter than everybody. And like I keep saying, like people like him, people like Drake, they choose these type of environments and these professions. I just did the research. It said like most saturated sociopath professions are the clergy. So that's the pastors, the priests, the pope, the media, and the CEO. I'm telling you, so they can easily influence. They don't actually have to compete. They don't have to be like athletes where you can just point at the scoreboard. They don't have to walk in there and talk it. They can just brand and market themselves. They can just use their streams and their subscribers to justify everything that they do. And it's evil.
a recent bombshell just dropped on Twitter several hours ago detailing court documents from the lawsuit that are both disturbing and detrimental to his public credibility. A user with apparent ties to the case uploaded pages upon pages of court proceedings which have gone extremely viral and give us a closer look to everything that went down that night, from screenshots from the CCTV footage showing the incident go down, along with pictures of the woman's bruises and cuts. This is in stark contrast to everything that Akademiks previously reported on the incident, basically saying that she had relations with two of his homies consensually and everything was just a misunderstanding.
And that's crazy because like they probably about to show it, but he went directly on stream and live streamed this. He even said at one point like his lawyers advised him not to go on live stream, no recorded, no lights, camera, action, nothing. He just did the same thing yesterday. As soon as the actual court case came out on Twitter, he immediately got on Instagram, got on Twitter, got on Twitch, started recording, started talking, trying to talk himself out the situation. Like, we don't see the court documents. We don't see these pictures. We ain't see her getting, you feel me? We saw the camera footage, but dude, we can't run, dog. It's nasty, man.
That's why I asked you while you were here if everything you did while I was sleeping, you were okay with doing. Remember I told you, I said, before I got to confront, I said, yo, everything you did last night, you were cool with doing, right? And she was like, yeah, I had fun.
So today, we gotta get into this full incident with the court documents and see once and for all the real depth of this situation, because the ramifications of this could be career altering for Akademiks. Even if he wins or loses this lawsuit, the damage on his career might already be done. So today, we gotta get into the dark allegations that could end DJ Akademiks, starting with chapter 1, the night in question, right now. But before we do, gang, I'm gonna need you to do something for me, man. So I'm gonna need you to tap in, like, comment, subscribe. Also, hit the link in the description for the merch, and on everything, hit that notification bell so whenever I post, y'all are tuned in right away. So let's get into chapter 1, the night in question. While many are just learning the details of this crazy story right now, you have to understand that this is a scenario that has been a thorn in Akademiks' side for over 2 years now, which we previously already documented. But all this new evidence has us having to go back and explain everything from the jump. With grape kits, police raids, internet accusations, surveillance footage, leaked text messages, this saga is finally reaching a boiling point with the public, with the leaking of these confidential documents. Many of the things coming to light now, like the text messages, have been slightly exposed in the past year when Akademiks was doing his rounds in an attempt to defend himself. However, the most damning evidence for AK is that when attempting to clear his name, Akademiks fully admitted that he was at the house and knew about an incident in question. Regardless of if he wins or loses it, it's a major mistake that is going to make him look terrible no matter how you try to spin this, and he should have never said, a lawyer would never tell you to say these type of things. So we'll get into each person's side of the incident right now in a non-biased way so you can decide who's truly at fault right now. In order to follow along these aspects, you have to understand the night that caused all this almost 2 years ago. So DJ Akademiks and internet personality Faiza Zaya Abashe, or as her YouTube goes by, Miss Zaya, had a close relationship. Apparently they were known to be with each other in an on-again, off-again relationship for over 2 years, and she seemed as though they were in a friendly relationship type vibe at the time that this happened. Obviously, a relationship with DJ Akademiks comes with enough drama that it could be on Zeus Network, but for some reason she tried to stay. Apparently they linked up in July 16th of 2022 to hang out with him, but while she was pulling up to see him, she was apparently greeted with 2 other men that were friends of Akademiks. The moment
And that's weird, man, especially once you start to hear his side of the story and him speak on the situation. It's just the way he views altercation, just the way he views just sex in general with these women, just his relationships. And he's a grown man speaking this way. So I can understand it's still not right, but as a kid, as a young, immature man, you can think this way. And it needs to be corrected. As a grown adult, he's older than me. I'm 26. I grew up watching Akademiks. You feel me? I got through college watching him. I was a chat nigga. And all that shit. Like 2016. Like that shit was crazy back then. Then I got older and realized, God damn, Akademiks is lame as hell. I've outmatured him. That's crazy. Like, and just look at his relationships and the way that he views life. And now he has the money, the power, he has the influence, he has the validation. Oh man, it's gonna get crazy, man.
she pulls up to Akademiks' New Jersey mansion, though, is when everyone's lives involved in this incident will change forever. In her lawsuit, she claims that while hanging out with Akademiks, she was allegedly either drugged by his two friends or just drank so much that she became unconscious. And her story goes as this. On or about July 16, 2022, defendant Livingston Allen, aka DJ Akademiks, contacted Abashe and invited her to come to his house and visit him in New Jersey. Even though it had been almost a year since they last saw each other, Abashe did not suspect any ill intentions and agreed. She was accustomed to visiting Mr. Allen at his home in New Jersey, and Mr. Allen would send a car to pick her up. She lives in Pennsylvania. On the day of the incident, Miss Abashe arrived to enjoy her evening. Little did she know that defendant Livingston Allen and his two accomplices, John Doe 1 and John Doe 2, would drug her and allegedly rape. The morning after the incident, Abashe was unaware of what happened. She only became aware after Mr. Allen showed her surveillance footage of everything that went down. So it started back in 2021 when she originally met him online and then began casually dating him. He periodically invited her to his New Jersey house, so she found no issue in pulling up. When she arrived at Mr. Allen's home, everything seemed normal, apart from the neighborhood power outage. John Doe 1, Khalif, a friend of Mr. Allen, greeted her. That is when Miss Abashe was taken aback because Mr. Allen, aka DJ Akademiks, did not tell her that anyone would be at his house besides her when she arrived. She did not expect anything suspicious at the moment she entered the home. John Doe 1, who's Khalif, invited her into the kitchen and introduced her to John Doe 2, another one of Mr. Allen's friends. Due to the power outage, the three of them sat in the kitchen together. Miss Abache engaged in small talk with them while patiently waiting for DJ Akademiks to appear. Miss Abache recalls John Doe 1 was being relatively talkative, while John Doe 2 was oddly quiet, which was kind of freaking her out. She was initially offered a drink, but she refused and opted to make her own drink, as she was accustomed to when she visited Mr. Allen's house, but John Doe 1 insisted that they prepare her a drink. Unbeknownst to Miss Abache, John Doe 1 was Mr. Allen's manager or employee, and he asserted his position by telling Miss Abache that he was in charge until Mr. Allen arrived. As odd as this encounter was, Miss Abache obliged and allowed John Doe 1 and John Doe 2 to fix her a drink. Honestly, red flag, because why do you need two people to do it? As the trio conversed, Abache asked for Mr. Allen and was told the whole
Yeah, this whole entire situation was tricky. Like, hearing this side of the story is completely different than the story that Akademiks told on stream. Like, he was saying he called her up, like, the plan was to fuck and all type of shit. And somehow Akademiks end up getting too drunk and falling asleep. And this side of the story was completely different. It almost sounded like a college type of frat type of thing. In this situation, it's almost like she came in with a completely different mindset, completely different perspective. So I'm just hearing about this now. So yeah, this is crazy.
John Doe 1 would then leave the kitchen to go find DJ Akademiks. When he came back, he said DJ Akademiks would join them shortly. Miss Abache believed that this was true. It did not go try to find DJ Akademiks because the home was dark and she didn't know where she was going. Admittedly, Abache recalls having an eerie feeling, but she ignored it because she did not believe that Mr. Allen, aka Akademiks, who she had known for nearly several years, would harm her or allow her to be harmed. She dismissed these feelings as just nerves and waited for DJ Akademiks to arrive. Shortly after the power returned, John Doe 1 asked if Abache wanted to use the hot tub or the pool to wait for DJ Akademiks there. She said she'd be okay with the hot tub and pool because she had previously visited. She was also under impression that John Doe 1 and 2 would leave after putting the hot tub on, as their actions and gestures made it appear that they would be heading out. She entered the hot tub alone. Shortly after, John Doe 1 appeared from inside the house and proceeded to join her in the hot tub, and John Doe 2 appeared too and gave her shots of alcohol to take. According to Abache, she vaguely remembers John Doe 2 nervously pacing around the pool area. Eventually, Abache recalls beginning to feel a strange feeling. It was not simply a feeling of intoxication, and Abache was only half into her first drink and a few shots into the new drink.
That's wild. That's crazy. To even get in the hot tub. And then to spike the drink. You gotta be careful who you hang around. Like, let me give Act the benefit of the doubt. Like, he didn't know it all. Like, these are just wild coincidences, right? And these two friends have no type of connection or any type of cooperation with Akademiks. Oh, cool. Bro, it's just, you gotta be more cautious, man. You gotta be way more cautious, like, especially in the industry. That's the reason why there's HR in corporations. You can't have your employees doing this type of shit. You only hear about this happening in the entertainment industry. Damn, this shit is nasty, man. There's no type of regulations.
She entered the hot tub, but then she began feeling extremely hot as if her body was on fire and extremely lightheaded and dizzy. Upon noticing this, John Doe 2 asked her if she was lit and then returned to the kitchen and returned with more alcohol, which they insisted she drink. She even asked to pour the alcohol into Abache's mouth forcefully. According to Abache, she recalls John Doe 1 becoming very handsy and aggressive and made advances towards her, which she rejected. Upon information and belief, John Doe 2 was on the sidelines watching while all this was happening. According to her, John Doe 1 would not take no for an answer and then began groping, and then, as you can see, everything sort of went down. She said she had memories of fighting them off, but then they just continued while on the concrete, causing scrapes and stuff like that. That is apparently when she was like borderline conscious and had no idea what's going on. Keep in mind, this is all going on at Akademiks' house with the security system filming all this on his pool day. Shortly after this, she said she was awoken at around 4 a.m. by DJ Akademiks pulling her hair, prying her legs open, and doing the same thing. This is where the court documents go into detail and state that he was relentless and tried to penetrate and was basically going crazy at the time. You know, you can read the full documents if you want to see everything that went down, but basically.
And that's crazy. And it is a, I believe, civil suit. It's not an actual criminal case. But at the same time, it's like, bro, Akademiks, his story wasn't matching up. what he said on stream was like he never, he said he was there, but he like fell asleep and all types of BS. And this is a completely different case when it comes to the actual court documents. This is actually what's legal. He keeps tap dancing around the situation. The exact same way he keeps dancing around the PDF file accusations with Drake. Even with the accusations with the Kick streamer. I just saw his live stream. He was still tap dancing around that. He won't even acknowledge it. So, man, you got to actually put these type of men on the registry always, because they will never admit accountability. He's gone. Dang.
He would just go crazy, and then the next morning she would basically wake up and have no recollection of everything that went down at all. Akademiks would in a later broadcast make it apparent that he blamed her for the incident. You know, his logic was he was actually hurt that she went and got with his two friends when she originally came there for him. That's what his argument was, which is why the following morning when she saw him, they had a brief little disagreement. Following morning, according to Abashe, she pulled up to his room where he was downstairs on his computer. She sat on the floor next to him and asked if he knew if his friends had done anything with her, which she had said no. He kept asking, "Are you sure?" He said everything was alright, and he repeatedly asked if she was all good. According to Abashe, she was baffled and kinda in disbelief by this. According to Abashe, Mr. Allen then asked her to follow her into another room where he showed her contents of a small trash can which appeared to be vomit and 2 Magnum condom wrappers and asked, "You don't remember this?" Abashe was still in disbelief. She zero recollection of ever being in the room in the prior night. According to Abashe, it appeared that John Doe and John 1 had basically done this non-consensually, and the pair would go into another room. But this is where everything kind of gets crazy for DJ Akademiks. He then handed her the can of vomit and asked her to throw away. She then asked for her phone. He got it, and he continued asking over and over again if everything was all good. At this point, she was still in disbelief and asked for proof of what had went down. That's when he showed the surveillance footage, which is honestly mad weird, because why does bro just have random surveillance cameras with all this on and just have that footage at the ready? Like, was bro watching that? Is crazy. So according to her, Allen then assured that everything was all good, and he noticed that her demeanor would slowly start to change. He then hastily told her that his mother was on his way and then proceeded to get her a lift back to Pennsylvania. According to Abashe, Livingston Allen, aka DJ Akademiks, asked her where her clothes was. She responded that she had it. He stood there with a suspicious look on his face. She later learned from the police that Mr. Allen disposed of several items including bed sheets and clothes at a dumpster near his office, which is
act you nasty. Act you nasty. He knew why the fuck you dispose of shit. Yeah, especially when you got the CCTV. You got the actual footage. And you disposing of shit. Nah, he can't play stupid. Nah, because I didn't even know about that part. Yeah, so he had at least some type of gut feeling. He saw the footage. He saw what happened. Especially since she had marks all down her back, all on her ass and her thighs and shit. Yeah, it looked nasty. It looked like it hurt, like she was getting dragged across concrete. You nasty. That's some serial killer shit. That's some Ted Bundy shit. Yeah, that nigga nasty. Lock him up.
honestly a giant red flag. Presumably, DJ Akademiks was attempting to destroy the evidence of the encounter. She began feeling uneasy. She felt that DJ Akademiks was attempting to take her clothes for some reason, presumably to hide whatever evidence she may have had or happened to have the night before. All these thoughts apparently ran through her head. As not to alarm DJ Akademiks, she remained composed as she waited for her lift to arrive. Abashe then said bye and left his home. According to her, DJ Akademiks, while she was in the lift, asked for more answers. He then began to blame her and ridicule her. Still trying to get answers, she pleaded with him, even apologizing for what had occurred, as she was desperate to learn the series of events that led DJ Akademiks and his accomplices to attack her. According to Abashe, she then asked DJ Akademiks, well, you said it was both of them, but you only showed me one. Can you send me proof of this? To which DJ Akademiks sent the screenshot of the attack, which was later put on all these documents. She would later go to the police, but in a broadcast, Akademiks would basically make it apparent that he blames her for the incident following this. His logic that he was actually hurt and that she had went with his two friends when she originally came there for him, and he definitely felt some type of way about that. Well, that's what he said later, originally what his argument was. While she claims that she was unconscious and would never willingly get with two random guys out of the blue at the same time, which is the difference in opinions right there in the whole case. However, judging by the court documents, the days following the alleged encounter, you're gonna see the situation was pretty damning for DJ Akademiks, especially with the fact that he allegedly threw out his bed sheets and clothes in a dumpster outside his office.
And that makes it even weirder. It's like, damn it, you can't say like, oh, you were hurt, you were upset because she just was a whore. Like, that sounds like some fresh and fit logic. And you know he cool with them. He love hanging around with those dudes. Like, that's way too simple. Like, she's just a hoe. Like, she just loves sucking dick so much. It's like, what the fuck? No, women don't think the same way men do. They don't do that. Like, you feel me? That's nasty, man. You go throw away the bed sheets. You go try to hide the evidence. He knew. He knew something was up. And that's nasty, man.
She went to the police to get a kit, and they found that his DNA was on the kit, as well as the fact that he was caught in a phone call set up by the police admitting to having sex with her. In the phone call, he would graphically recount and admits to having sex with her, even going as far as describing her as being loose, stating, "I know what your blank feels like, it feels loose." Based on information and belief, the evidence was used to obtain a warrant for the footage. This caused the police just cause to secure the footage and other evidence in a search. According to Abache, the results from the test come out as positive. In addition to that, she had images of her bruises on her arm, back, buttocks, and legs as evidence of struggle that she presented to the police as well. At the time of the attack, she was only 5'5", while the other people were 5'10" to 5'11". However, just seeing all this evidence against him, you would think that he was basically on the ropes and his career was pretty much in a downward spiral at that point. However, in this next chapter, you'll see how he was able to finesse his way out of the criminal charges, but that still might not be enough for him to beat this lawsuit, which brings us to the aftermath. In the days following DJ Akademiks' encounter with Zaya, a text exchange from the incident would be put into the public that sheds light on where both of these people's minds were at the time. Akademiks would later put the text out as a way to try and to prove his innocence, which we'll get into later, while this text thread would later be available in the lawsuit documents. It starts with Akademiks contacting Zaya, asking her to get tested. She responds that she's injured and unlike her to be with two men unprotected. She then in a later message says she's going to get a kit with no response from Akademiks. She then attempts to call him in panic, and he gives her an answer basically sort of skeptically looking at her for insistence that their whole encounters had been non-consensually. You know, he's basically looking at her kind of crazy. He then jokes and says that she was even trying to call her friends to join in too. He also makes it adamant that he had no part in the situation, basically trying to make an alibi, saying that whatever she did with the other two men were all them, and he was asleep at the time. But as we previously stated in the situation, his DNA was seen on the kit, which would later come out. On top of the fact that the phone call that the police told her to make with him that was recorded on a wire basically detailed everything that went down, and he admitted to everything. This is pretty damning because of the fact that these messages, he tries to pretend that he doesn't have any relations with her and it was just his friends, while she on the other hand was totally out of the right state of her mind. People are using the argument that they were consensually previously, but why wouldn't he say that in the messages that leaked, in the messages that he put out to the public? If that were the case, why would he pretend that he had nothing to do with it but then end up getting his DNA shown in the kit? Well, these answers might be fine.
Yeah, and going and trying to say her pussy was loose and those elementary school type of insults. It's like, bro. And then like in the text messages you saw, it said like, well, Akademiks was saying, well, I didn't judge you if you did. So like this is just how he thinks about caliber of relationships that he wants. You remember, he doesn't want an actual connection. He doesn't want actual intimacy. He just wants flesh. Then wants to pass him off. He's too grown for that shit, man. I don't know how old he is, but I'm 26. Your frontal lobe is formed at 25. And I know Akademiks, he's in his 30s. He got to be. Drake, he's 37. So that's an issue, man. That's an issue. God.
Answered in the aftermath of what happened next. The aftermath. Chapter 3. Following the police receiving the kit and Abache's photos from the incident, they had enough evidence to perform a raid on Akademiks' house. They retrieved the video evidence along with other evidence that they would find in the premises, and somehow, some way did not charge Akademiks. I think that this stems from the fact that even though they had evidence of an encounter between two men, they did not have any video evidence of anything going on with Akademiks, which is what she came there for, and they did not have any any evidence to charge the two men for assault based on the video alone. However, this is apparent in situations like this that absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. The burden of proof is to charge someone for something like this is often difficult to prove. However, the couple of questions that remain, such as if she was into all this, who in their right mind would be cool with getting large scrapes, abrasions, and bruises on their backs and tailbones? You know, that's definitely a red flag. That looks extremely painful. As well as the question of why would Akademiks go so hard in denying that he had relations with her that night, even when a test proved otherwise. Following the police raid, Akademiks would go on live and detail his side of the story, essentially bashing Abashe, saying she was a thought, saying his homie said that she was down for it and were super surprised after the incident because she said she was down, and most importantly saying he had no relations with her that night, basically in his long live stream, which is honestly crazy now knowing that all that evidence that came out showed that he admitted to it in a phone call, and Kit showed that he had something to do with it because of the DNA evidence that came forward from the kid. So it basically disproves everything that he previously said on his live stream. Following this, Abashe would come out and basically post her infamous video where she states that DJ Akademiks did this, DJ Akademiks needs to pay, and that she is going to settle this all in court, which is ongoing litigation right now, and you can check out the court documents that are currently ongoing. While I at first was kind of skeptical of everything that was going on because of the fact that Akademiks said that the police cleared him and everything was all good, I do not think that he is going to win this lawsuit, because regardless of the case, there's a lot of evidence there, and in these type of lawsuit situations, you need far less proof in a lawsuit than you do in a criminal.
And that makes it even worse. It's like even after you get accused, you kind of get off from the criminal case, you still go online calling her, oh, she's just a thought, she's just a hoe. Like, that's his audience. That's the people that he speaks to. Like, I keep going back to the Pareto principle. When you understand that a small minority of men attract the mass majority of women, he attracts the mass majority of dudes that don't attract any woman at all. So they are looking at two completely different perspectives. They see Akademiks as standard. They don't even see someone like a dude Dennis or a Morris Chestnut. They don't even see something like that even being possible to even be in a just relationship in general. Hell, fuck being a Casanova. Just being married, just having a family. Like, the mass majority of these dudes, it's almost like they gave up. They said, fuck it. And this is a result, man. That's the only type of people that even are still connected with Akademiks. Even after he got exposed with one of his friends, Lil Boom, got exposed for being a child predator. Walking around Walmart, taking pictures of little girls under their skirts. Then the girl was like 6, 7 years old, elementary school girls. Multiple. So, like I keep saying, they hang in flocks, man. This shit is weird. Damn.
Charged. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up losing, and I wouldn't be surprised honestly if he had something nefarious going on there. I'ma state it again. Why on earth did he have evidence that showed that he had his DNA inside of her, and he stated on live and previously in text messages that he had nothing to do with it, but on a phone call that was wired by the police said that he did do it? And on everything, why on earth would someone want to be scraped up and bruised and basically completely just have their body cut up like in the pictures that released on Twitter if you were all good with that? It kind of doesn't add up. I really feel like even if he does lose, it's over for him. And even if he does win, I feel like it's not really a good scenario either, because if you're all good like he seems, it would seem that he would just be like not in these type of situations. You know, you wouldn't have these type of situations following you everywhere if you were doing something right. It just seems like there's something that's not adding up. It seems like there's something that's sketchy going on with DJ Akademiks, and it seems super weird and kind of ironic when you look at it in the greater scheme of everything with what happened with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. DJ Akademiks was the one person who was pushing hard against the allegations of Drake and trying to come up with baseless allegations against Kendrick Lamar, saying that he was an abuser and stuff like that, when DJ Akademiks was the real person that has ongoing litigation with a mountain of evidence showing that he might actually be the freakazoid in this situation. So it seems that DJ Akademiks really got the weird case. Why is he around? And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
Freaky ass nigga here, 69. God damn, man. Projection at his finest. Now, he has actual evidence. They will actually dismiss that to try to put these baseless claims on Kendrick, saying that he's a woman beater, when they just made this up on some Mean Girl shit. Drake really thinks he's a bad bitch. He really thinks he's Regina George. Like, man, like, bro, you gotta prove that. That's evidence. That's video evidence. They want us to ignore what we see with our own two eyes. They really think we're stupid. They really think we're dumb. Ain't that, man?
If he loses. But my whole question is, what's going to happen if he does lose? Like, if he loses, do you think that it's going to affect his career in any way? Or do you think that people that are that big stands of him are just going to love him regardless? Personally, I feel like he doesn't really deal with so many brands that it's all good for him for this to go down. You know, he doesn't deal with Spotify anymore. He doesn't have that deal really. He doesn't really deal with anyone besides himself and Twitch and YouTube and those companies. I wonder if they're going to take a stand against him, which I don't think they really can, because it's more of like a free speech like situation. Like, really anyone could really do anything, and as long as you're not inciting something on the actual platform or doing this on the actual platform, why would a platform take you down? You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but there's no real justification for them doing it, especially if he makes them millions of dollars every year. So honestly, I don't really think he's going to be deplatformed, but I think the general consensus is hip-hop is his credibility is going to be completely flattened. I mean, he pretty much lost all his credibility in the whole Kendrick and Drake incident. I wouldn't be surprised if people felt that way because he was extremely biased. But what does this say about Drake being aligned with people like this? I feel like he's gonna make Drake a lot worse, and Drake can't really be aligned with someone that does these type of things or has these type of weird cases. I mean, he's aligned with Baca, which is already weird.
I was just about to say that. It's like, bro, you got Baca. He's standing right next to you. Then you got Akademiks. He's your spokesperson. Like, if Drake was Jafar, Akademiks would be Gilbert Gottfried, the Toucan. It's like, bro, he is surrounded by predators, man. That's just like I said when Funny Willis arrested Young Thug. She said 20% of the population was committing 80% of the crimes. Do you know how rare that is to find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people around you that have these type of cases? You have to attract this. You have to be looking for this shit. God damn.
Enough. But in Drake's eyes, why when he is being accused of being a pedo and being accused of being like a crazy abuser and a weirdo, want to align himself with someone who actually has a case recently right now? You know, so I feel like all this that happens with Drake and all this relationship that and rapport that DJ Akademiks built with him is going to be on a downward spiral, and he's going to get cut off from being close with a lot of people in hip-hop that he is. But man, let me know in the comments what you think of the aftermath is going to be with this, man. Real say shit. You already know what's going on, man. Like, comment, subscribe,
Hey, man. Shout out to Stay Safe World for the video. Go ahead and comment down below what y'all think, man. See y'all in the next one.